a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but is entirely...
If you scare easily, go ahead and exit right now. When my grandmother was in hospice, she hospiced under the care of my mom and my aunt in this home. As it got closer to the end, my grandma would kind of swat and be like, do you see them? Do you see them? They're just flying all around me. They're flying all around me. She would also say that she sees a man in the corner. One day my mother was in the bathroom doing her hair and my aunt was going to the store. While my mom was in the bathroom doing her hair, she felt a huge gust of wind, as if like somebody was like walking by and walking through our hallway, and they're walking fast and like with a purpose, like startled my mom. Then she peeked outside the door and she's calling for my aunt. She's like, Pat, is that you? And it wasn't my aunt. And then it happened again and she sees somebody like walking by and my mom was like, what the heck is going on? My mom just gets this really weird feeling and she goes into my grandma's room and she's like, hey mom, are you okay? And my grandma was like, did you see him? And my mom was like, yeah mom, I saw him. He starts speaking to it, starts saying, hey, I think I know who you are. We're not ready for her to go. And my mom said that it was a cloaked figure, like a pale cloaked figure with like a button-up shirt with a high collar, like ruffled high collar up to here, ruffles on the sleeves, and like a hat that Abraham Lincoln used to wear, like a top hat. Like a few days passed. My grandma is watching Judge Judy because that's what my grandma loved, Judge Judy. And my mom is in there and Judge Judy had just gone off and my mom goes in there.
Anybody else ever seen the top hat man? He just been visiting everybody, huh?
She's like, hey mommy. Asked my grandma if she wants to watch the Today Show now because Gladys Knight and the Pips are going to be performing. And my mom has her back turned to my grandma and my grandma's back here laying down. And my mom says, she's like, hey mom, do you want to watch the Today Show? Gladys Knight and the Pips are on. And my grandma said, no, he's here. And my mom says, who's here, mom? And when my mom turned around, my grandma had passed. Like my grandma was dead. She was gone. She said, no, he's here. And she was gone. It was the angel of death. Angel of death came and took her soul. Yeah, he's here.
I don't like that whole took your soul saying, but I don't know. Everybody keeps saying that they see the top hat man in astral projection and stuff. So that's definitely one for the books. I hope her grandmother has a safe passage. Welcome back to another video, y'all. I wanted to give y'all an update on that little project that I was working on, and it is about to be released on May 23rd. Now, in order to be able to see this project, you will be going to my VIP status membership on my page. You should be able to see it on my channel after I post this video. In this membership, you will have badges that you will be receiving for how long you continue to stay in my YouTube page. Members only live chat, first response comments from me. You will get to see my video reactions earlier than the people who are in public. I'm looking for ways that I can do a movie night with y'all. In this subscription, you will also get singing bowl sessions from me that heal all 7 of your chakras and bring you into alignment. And when you subscribe, you also get to participate into an auction that I do every single month, and somebody will get $100. I think I covered all of it. You should be able to see it after this video. So that was the longest introduction I ever did on any of these videos. Let's just get straight into it. Thank you for listening. Let's continue to look at these stories.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but is entirely true. I'll go.
The time a ghost beat up my uncle because he was a horrible person. Yeah, true story. I was a little kid. I was around 8 years old. I was up in my room playing, and this man came upstairs with his little demonic looking eyes. He always looked like something was wrong with him. You know, you see people and they just look like they're up to no good by their eyes. He was just one of those people. He's one of my mother's younger siblings, close in age to my older siblings. Anyway, I don't think I was intentionally left home with him, but anyway, he was the only person up in the house besides me. He came up those stairs as he had done once before, and he came up there with ill intentions. And this time around, I had backup. I was so scared, but a spirit snatched his butt up. I seen him when he got close to me. It snatched him and grabbed him and tossed him up into my closet. It pushed the door shut. The door did not have a handle. It just had this little shoestring. It was just a shoestring tied through a little hole in the door where you open and close it. There wasn't even room for a handle on the door. Now that I think about it, it was just this little string. But it locked him up in that closet, and it beat his tail. It sounded like a boxing match, UFC match up in there. He was screaming, he was hollering, he was pleading, he was begging for help. He was begging to get out of there. Eventually, my mother came home, and I think one of my brothers, and they heard the commotion, and they came upstairs, and, you know, they're trying to figure out what's going on. They let him out the closet. He was pale, like all the skin. He was a very dark-skinned man, but he looked like he had seen a ghost. All this color had ran from his body, but he had bruises everywhere. Like he had been beat with fists or buckles. It looked really bad, but his actual skin tone, you know, he of course was frightened, but that man ran about that house, and he never stepped foot in the house a day after that. So yeah, a ghost actually protected me as a child. Seems crazy, but it is an absolute true story.
Justice. That's all I can say for that one is justice. Justice. That's all it is. Justice. Justice. This one is a dream, y'all, but it got like 1 million views, so we're gonna watch it.
About the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all.
So I once had a character in a dream tell me that I would, if I didn't find a way to wake up. And that's not even the crazy part. So
somebody in the comments, let me know if y'all ever had that experience before, because that I ain't never heard nothing like that before. I ain't never heard nothing like that.
So I had this routine with my mom where 5 days a week, every time she'd go to work, she would come home at 12 for her lunch break, and we would hang out. We would eat together. We'd watch like a judge show, like Judge Judy or something. We'd hang out, and then she'd go back to work. So this one day, I decided to take a nap, and I'm like, I'm not going to set an alarm because she'll be home like in an hour or something like that, and she'll wake me up. Normal day. So I go to sleep. I realize that I'm asleep because I'm in an airport and I'm with a group of people, and like we're going on a trip somewhere. I don't usually travel with people. I always travel alone. So I think that's what kind of like set it off in my brain that I was like, oh, I'm sleeping, so I'm just gonna vibe, right? So I started to notice a pattern of extremely highly stressful situations happening back to back to back, and I wasn't really giving it that energy. So we're running through the airport. We missed the flight, which normally would freak me out. Didn't. I decided to go with it. I'm like, hey, let's rent a car. I'm just going with it. So we can't find the car rental place, and then I end up getting separated, and being in large crowds by myself is already a highly stressful situation in a highly stressful environment already. So normally this would have sent me into a panic in real life, but I was just going with it. So I'm going down this escalator, that's what it's called, escalator. And I look down, and I realize that the bottom of the escalator is just disintegrating. It's just falling apart. Everything's falling down into just darkness. So there was no other situation being created. It was just darkness. And there's a blur of people, the same way that it would be in an airport, with just people just coming and going and coming and going. And I notice one guy off the side who's looking at me, and he's completely still. He's dressed in all black. He stands out from everybody else. So I see him see me, and I'm like, shit. So
That was the man in black. That's the man in black right there.
Just trying to like sing songs to myself to wake myself up. And if you're familiar with my content, if you've seen any of my lucid dreaming videos, I kind of tell people how to do it in a safe way or not to do it, things like that. So if you've seen any of those videos, then you know I say I'll sing a song over and over and over until I wake up, because your brain has no choice but to kind of wake you up. But that wasn't working. So he looks over at me, and he's like, you know, if you don't find a way out of here, you're stuck. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? He's like, if you here, you're gonna be stuck here too, so you better find a way to wake yourself up. So I'm like, I'm not really tripping, because my mom's gonna be home soon. She's gonna wake me up. So if I can't wake myself up, she's gonna wake me up. And he's like, no, she's not coming home today, so you better figure it out.
he comes off as like really concerned, but like, I can't help you. You better figure it out. So I'm freaking out. I'm singing the song over and over. I'm not waking up. I'm crying and screaming until I was screaming, help me, until like I just held on to that like help. And I woke up gasping for air because I stopped breathing. And I'm crying and I'm freaking out. Now, this could have been my brain trying to find a way to wake me up, my anxiety manifesting, or something in the fact that I normally would have woken up in that stressful situation, but since I knew that I was dreaming, I didn't wake myself up. However, I checked my phone, and sure enough, there's a message from my mom that I got after I'd fallen asleep telling me that she wasn't coming home because she was working through her lunch break. So I completely believe that if I wasn't able to wake myself up, that I would have. I just always felt like it was deeper than just a regular dream.
The fuck? Who was that man? And what universe was she at? And how did he know in her universe or wherever she was that her mom wasn't gonna answer or come back home to wake her up? How, Sway? Y'all keep doing this when I ain't got nobody in the house physically.
Let me hop on this train and tell y'all what happened to me. But first, let me tell y'all about the history of this house that we ended up moving in. The family that lived in this house was very, very close to my family, like very close. Cookouts and everything, swimming pools, all that. We did all that when we were younger. And 2 of the family members died in this family. The great-grandfather who died of a heart attack, remember that, that's gonna tie in later on. And the nephew who died in a car accident. And we decided to move into this house after they moved out. Yeah, so smart. I decided to move into the room where the grandfather had the heart attack. A few days into living into this house, I remember doing my makeup in the bathroom. I was like 16 turning 17, so I'm doing my makeup in the bathroom, and my family is in the living room, and I see a shadow walk past from the peripheral of my eye, but I don't turn my head. So I continue doing my makeup, and I hear my nickname being called. Latoni, don't call me that. You don't got privilege to call me by my nickname. But I hear my nickname being called. And I'm thinking it's my family walking by, like one of my family members. So I'm like, what? While I'm looking in the mirror doing my makeup, I don't get a response. So I say, naturally, I'm like, what again? Because my mom be doing that. And again, I get no response. So I decided to leave the bathroom and go into the main room, which I see the shadow go into. So when I tell y'all, I did not see a soul in that room. I did not see nothing. I looked in the closet, nothing. Nobody was in that room. So I walk into the living room where my family's at, and I'm like, did anyone call my name? Everyone's like, no one called your name. And, they're making jokes. Oh, it's a ghost. Ha, 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 ha. Like it was funny. During that time, I didn't really think anything of it. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a family member playing a joke on me. I didn't think anything of it, and that was the first situation that happened. By the way, this is that day. Yeah, she ate. She ate. Situation number 2. It was around my birthday, and my brother got me a guinea pig for my birthday, and I remember making like a little cage out of a box. Don't do that. I remember making a little cage out of a cardboard box, like a big mansion, and I put it in my room next to my bed. And it's nighttime, so nighttime comes, and I have a red nightlight near my door, and this guinea pig right next to me. So I'm in the middle of a deep sleep. When I wake up to, I can't even make the noise, like, on a cardboard box where my guinea pig is in. And I just hear it constant. So I decided to get up to slowly creep over the guinea pig to see where it's at, what it's doing, because I never experienced anything like that before. I never owned a guinea pig. So I slowly look over the cage, the box, and the guinea pig is gone. The noise stops. And it's the middle of the night. And I'm like, okay, whatever. This motherfucker's a weirdo. Okay. So I go back into my bed to go back to sleep. Wake up again to constant. I'm like, what is going on? This little weirdo. So I get up again, slowly creep over it. I don't want to scare it. I don't see the guinea pig again. So I'm like, okay. I lay back down into the bed. When I tell you, I heard a gasp of air, someone gasping for air. When I tell you, I Usain bolted to my family's room and jumped in between both of them and explained to them what happened. Of course, my mom believed me because she's spiritual. I jumped in between my parents and I never went back into that room. Voice crack. I never went back into that room till weeks later. Mind y'all, I'm like 17 at this point, sleeping in between my parents, scared. 17. So time passed. I upgraded my guinea pig's cage to a fish tank, a huge fish tank. And the only time I would go into that room would to take the guinea pig out to play or to, run in there and throw some hay down and run away. Another thing, while living in this house, I had constant nightmares night after night. And my dreams were more so, I'm trying to talk and I can't talk in my dreams, those type of dreams. And the hardest I try to talk, I start speaking in real life. And then I wake up, like I'll hear my voice and then I will just wake up. After time passed, nothing physically really happened other than my nightmares. So I felt very comfortable to go back into the room and decided to sleep again into that room. First night, I go into this room. Again, my guinea pig is next to me, this time in a fish tank. And I still got the red light, night light in my room. And I go to sleep. I woke up to, again, but this time against glass, because it's a fish tank. So I'm like, okay, not again, not again. So this time, I was scared. So I kind of just got my eyes open, just looking up. And then eventually I ended up sitting up, just sitting there while I'm hearing this noise. And I hear, again, I dashed out that room, ran to my parents again, jumping between them. They got tired of me at this point. After that situation, I never went back into that room. Never. Only for my guinea pig, because,
So the family friend, I think she was in the room of the father family friend that had a heart attack. So that's why she kept hearing that. Like, maybe they were experiencing the same symptoms that she was. And, he was trying to warn her. That's what I'm picking. I think he's trying to warn her. But for real though, what would you do if you were a victim of a some type of supernatural event that caused you to be unalived, and you're seeing the same people, your family friends, going through in the same house, going through the same experiences? I would scare you to get out of the room too. Like, that's just simple math.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
It's finally time to tell my story. So when I was an undergrad, somewhere around like 2011, 2012, I went to CarMax, bought my first big girl purchase by myself, no co-signer, It was a used car. It was a 2009 Jeep Compass, and I loved that little thing. So I spent all day at the dealership, and it was late at night. I had to drive back to my dorm, so that was like an hour away, right? By the time I get to the free parking lot, it's already dark outside. I reach in the back seat to grab my backpack, and guess what's staring at me? It was a little Asian girl. Scared the shit out of me. I grabbed my stuff so fast, I darted to my dorm room, closed the door, and when I tell you I was huffing and puffing and super scared. Because what did I just see? I know I did not see what I know I saw on day one. So the very next day I called my grandmother. This is very important because my grandma is Chinese and Jamaican. Not to mention she's a medium. She sees spirits and she talks to people all the time. So I'm just like, she gotta have something to do with her because those are her people. So I asked my grandma, has anybody in our family lost a little Asian girl that was like 3 or 4 years old? She says, no, doesn't sound familiar. Why, what's up? So I tell her what I saw in the car, and she says, oh, no, she's there to protect you. It's fine. Winter's approaching. I've been walking to work this whole time. Bought a car, hadn't even drove it because I'm scared. Eventually, I talked myself into, okay, just drive during the daytime, maybe talk to her, see if you can get anything out of her. So for a couple months, I tried talking to her, got nothing, no response. She would just stare. She would just sit and look at me. Eventually, I guess I just kind of warmed up to her, like she's just gonna be here. Like I don't know what to do. Like this is still my car. And anytime I would have people in the car, she would just disappear. Like she knew what her role was. Fast forward, and this girl has now been riding in my car for almost 5 years. Still doesn't talk. At this point, I'm in grad school at the Med Center. I'm dirt broke, I'm working multiple jobs, and I'm driving for Uber and Lyft on the side, right? The last time I saw her was when I was getting ready to go out to go drive That night, I got a ride request to go pick up somebody from the casino. Turns out it was my classmate from the med center. So we're chopping it up in the car, right? I come across this intersection. It's a 4-way intersection, and at the red light, there was an officer sitting there just waiting at his red light. I remember just kind of glancing down, making sure that I was going the right speed limit, and boom, I got hit. It was a big black Suburban. The guy was drunk. And he kept driving after he hit my car, and the only reason why he stopped is because he hit a tree. The officer saw everything happen. It was all caught on the dash camera. I'm gonna just be real with you. That night, should have been dead. Okay, he ripped the whole front end of my Jeep off. It was to smithereens. There was nothing. There was like I can't even explain. Airbags had deployed. I'd never been in a car accident before, so I didn't know airbags were white. I thought it was in heaven. And I remember being so angry because everybody said when you die, you're so peaceful. I was angry. I was a telephone operator. I was working like 2 and 3 jobs. I was putting myself to grad school, and I was miserable. And I was just like, God, this is how you gonna do me? Eventually, I come to it because now I hear the girl in the back seat of my car screaming, Larissa, we gotta get you out. Larissa, we gotta get you out. And I was like, oh shit, I'm not dead. Okay. When I stepped out of my car, my shoe was across the street. When I tell you I got hit so bad, my car spun across 3 different lanes. The whole front end of my car was missing. Gone. Smithereen, just smoke. Obviously, the officer runs him down. And then his girlfriend gets out the car. You get off my man. He didn't do nothing to me. You get off my man. And I just remember sitting on the curb like, what just happened? So we start the lawsuit process. Fast forward. About a year later, it's my birthday. Me and my best friend are going to go to the spoken poetry word slam thingamajig. Just because I just wanted to get out the house. You know what I mean? And out of the corner of my eye, I see this guy sitting at a table. And I am so intrigued because I just want to know, what is he doing? He's got like tarot cards. So best friend was like, go talk to him. Like, go get a reading. I said, no. You don't understand. My people are Jamaican. We don't do, I'm not disturbing nothing. Plus, I already know what I know that I don't tell people. So I did this reading with her right by my side because I'm a little nervous. So I sit at this guy's table. He has me hold out my hands. He puts all these little animal bones and trinkets and stuff. And he says, let the pieces fall where they may fall. And he said, by the way, happy birthday. I said, what? How did he know it was my birthday? Oh, I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there. He takes a while to evaluate the pieces and he goes, so there's a lot here I want to talk to you about. But the first thing I need to ask you is, tell me about your car accident. I said, got hit by a drunk driver like a year ago. Yeah, okay, what? He says, no, tell me what really happened. I never told anybody about this. I never told anybody about this. What do you mean? To the best of my knowledge, I'm trying to remember exactly everything. And I tell him I got hit by a drunk driver. He was going pretty fast. T-boned my car, but it only hit the front end of my car. I don't know how it didn't hit me. And he said, so what about the little girl that's in the car? I said, I'm playing dumb. Why am I playing dumb? He knows this stuff. He clearly does. I don't know this man. I've never met him. So I tell him, yeah, okay, there's a little girl that's been in my car for, a couple of years or whatever. He said, do you know that she turned the wheel for you? I said, what are you talking about? He said she cut the wheel to save your life because she died in that car and she didn't want you to die. He's right. That was the last time I saw her. I asked him, can you give me more information? Who is she? Why was she here? Is she in my family? There was really no other information. She's not related to me at all. She just didn't want to see me die in that car. But during that reading, he did ask me some other questions and stuff, but he told me, you're a medium and I need you to start acting like it. For the sake of not sounding crazy, I've never told anybody else outside of my mom and my grandma and my family that I be seeing shit, but I don't be saying shit. Nothing it's just normal. But I know that you don't talk about that stuff out loud because it freaks out people. How did he know this? I don't know. He said, you have abilities that can put me out of business, and I need you to really lean into that. Well, he's right. I am a medium, and I'm not that great at it. I'm honestly scared about everything, and I do not trust being in the dark.
You can see people being saved by the non-physical. Some people have their superstitions about acknowledging the energy that's around you. You have angels, you have just maybe even random strangers are sad or, just can't move on. They're over here helping people. So you never know. So just be grateful and thankful for all the blessings and protection that you have been given, because any situation could have been worse. So just always be grateful and show gratitude. And with that, I'm going to just wrap it up. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. You already know every time I get down the down line of it, it's time to wrap it up. So y'all have a good rest of y'all day, okay? And show gratitude.